In the beautiful seaside Regency resort of Brighton in Sussex, yes, that now famous county of Sussex, where of course they never see the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. This town though has a lot of Regency royal connections because it was then the Prince of Wales, of course, himself, King Edward finally, who really set a standard about, the sort of Edwardian Victorian era of coming to a wonderful seaside place for a break, and really the invention of the railways was the catalyst to make sure that people, you and I, ordinary people, could enjoy something of a break. The sort of thing I'm talking about, a seaside and sand and candy floss, hot dog, all of that sort of stuff, all the healthy stuff. Well, I can see you're like me, we don't bother with the rest, do we? But Brighton really has lost none of its charm. But what was fascinating to find when you look in the history was the fact that really they were so ahead of their time. And when you think about the glamour, the glitz, and of course the style, the sophistication, really a lot of people have forgotten these particular ladies. They were formed in 1952 and they were called the Brighton Promettes. Take a look. Brighton Promettes were really essentially sort of just beautiful young girls of the day who literally were there to assist the great British public on their holiday. And what was beautiful about that, and you can just see how well groomed and tailored they are. I mean, let's be honest, girls, they could have been Miss Worlds, couldn't they? They were so well put together. I don't know if you'd get this level of sophistication today. And not only were they glamorous and gorgeous and all that sort of stuff, but they had to speak certain languages to assist all the foreign international visitors to this wonderful place. And more importantly, they had to have a vast knowledge of what was available, all the big stars that were hitting the town in those summer season variety shows. The sort of thing I'm talking about, the thing that we all enjoyed that sadly no longer exists. And it got me really thinking about exactly how things have changed. Not always, of course, for the better. And it's interesting when I was reaching out to people down here to see, were you a promette? Nobody seems to know or clearly remembers them down here. It's funny, isn't it, how time erases so many things that were so prevalent at that particular point. Somebody, it's not that far away from the early 1950s right through apparently into the early 60s, must have been one. Were you a Brighton Promette? Or did you know one? Or did you see them when you came to visit? What was fascinating, talking to a lot of people who've been in the town a while, they think they could be readjusted, brought back to life. Oh yes, so maybe if you live in this area, could you too be a promette in 2024? However, a colleague of mine suggested this, and this maybe could be the real twist that could make it so incredibly PC in this rather woke world we live in today. How about beefcake promettes? That would definitely increase visitors, right? And particularly if they all look like, say, the muscle men that were famous in the Mae West Las Vegas review. Now, ladies, you've suddenly come awake, haven't you? Maybe you fancy looking at Brighton in a different view. Whichever way, what do you think to the fact that these ladies brought style, elegance, and more importantly, made sure so many people had a wonderful holiday? It's nice to remember people that did so much for us in the past. And of course, the Brighton Promettes seem to be lost in the midst of time. But as ever, perk up, because they could be the beefcake Promettes if you play your cards right. Right, Brighton? Neil Sean in the very heart of Brighton.